What's going on, guys? It's Logan from Angle on Sports. Today we're doing something different to the normal Fantasy Monday. Today we're actually going through my AFL Supercoach team. Now, as most of you know, the AFL season starts on the 5th of March, which is just 2 weeks away. And I'm really keen. I've been looking at my Supercoach team for a long time, and I just wanted to go through some of the player differences that I've got, some people that I've avoided, and just overall the entire team, because we'll be following it every week for the next few. Now, obviously, with Supercoach, there's a lot of players that are really good, a lot of players that are really bad. I'm not trying to shit on any player because they're all spectacular in their own ways. So you guys might have someone different to me. At the start of the season, there's so much grey area. I'm recording this after the match simulations, but before all of the preseason matches, so we really don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, this isn't to discredit anyone's team, any players, any teams, anything like that. I will say stuff that you might not agree with, but that's just the way it is. This at the start of the season is all subjective. But yeah, let's get right into it. Now, obviously, with Supercoach, there's a lot of players that are really good, a lot of players that are really bad. I'm not trying to shit on any player because they're all spectacular in their own ways. So you guys might have someone different to me. At the start of the season, there's so much grey area. I'm recording this after the match simulations, but before all of the preseason matches, so we really don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, this isn't to discredit anyone's team, any players, any teams, anything like that. I will say stuff that you might not agree with, but that's just the way it is. This at the start of the season is all subjective. But yeah, let's get right into it. Alrighty, guys. So just to start off with, I'm going to start from the very top of Supercoach and I'm going to work my way down. So we're starting with the defenders, which in all honesty is by far my most weak position. But to start off, my D1 is Colby McKercher. He is going to have an incredible season. As you can see, I've got his teammate there who we'll go through in a minute, but Colby's really primed to have a great season off halfback, play a little bit more in the guts, get some more CBAs, and really just take a next leap. My next player was Finn O'Sullivan. Now, he is more in my team as I have the money to have him. I wasn't really looking to have a lot of salary going into the break, which I might change, but as you can see, my defensive list is not that great. All of my money's tied elsewhere, but realistically, Finn O'Sullivan, especially through the preseason, he's been training the house down, as everyone is, but he also is a hybrid between a high-playing back and also in the midfield, a little bit of wing, all that sort of stuff. So he can really be played anywhere. And he, with that, will also score pretty highly if he doesn't get injured or if he really just has trained the house down and he does take that next step. Now, my next player is Lachlan Blackiston. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but he is Essendon's starting ruck this year. It's been reported everywhere. You see in the match simulation, he's had a really great game. But at just 300,000 as a starting ruckman. Now we are yet to see how much the new ruck rules do change, like the ruckman scores. But for 300,000, and I've got about 5 rucks in my team, which we'll go through very soon. But having Blackiston there as a defender and having that spot taken up, if he's going to score like a ruckman did last year, is an absolute steal, and he's owned by less than 10% of teams, which I think is absolutely foolish. My next player is Caleb Windsor. Now, he's only sitting at $283,000, and he is going into a new year with a brand new looking team. Obviously, they've still got Max Gawn, and they've still got Cozzy Pickett, but without Clary and without Track, their whole ball movement is going to look insanely different. And I'm surprised that I don't have more Melbourne players in here, and I'm going to go through some of the people that I left out soon. But Caleb Windsor at 283, you should also think about bringing in. He's also owned by less than 10% of teams as well. But someone who isn't and owned by about 50% is Kitty Coleman. Now, Kitty also played at a Norm Smith level in 2023 in the grand final, and last year missed the entire year. I think he played 1, maybe 2 games due to injury. Now, he's only sitting at 233,000, but he averaged 71 last year. He is probably going to jump to about $400,000, and that's where you start to think of getting rid of him. I'm comparing Kitty this year to Wayne Miller of last year, and Wayne Miller I actually took the chance on, and it paid off tremendously. I'm expecting the same thing out of Kitty Coleman this year. And my last defender on the main group is Sam Grell. Sam Grell it's Richmond. I don't want to shit on Richmond, but their team is terrible. He's going to play a lot through the guts as well as in defense. Now, going into our midfield, obviously, as you can see here, I've spent pretty large, and it's really taken a toll on my defensive list. But I'm still happy with my team. I've looked at this a lot, and I don't think it's going to change. But going into the midfielders, first off, we've got Marcus Bontempelli. He's Jesus with a football. He's always scoring about 130. And people are really expecting good things from the Western Bulldogs this year. Now, I'm not exactly on that boat just yet. I need to see them prove themselves. But Bontempelli isn't one of those people that you really need to see to believe. Last year, I think he averaged about 131. And he's just a trade that everyone's eventually going to bring in. Now, I'm just trying to get that trade out of the way. He's a set and forget sort of player. He's going to be in my team all year as long as he doesn't get injured. My second midfielder is Zach Butters. He's going into a contract year. People are looking at him, especially Geelong and Collingwood. Port Adelaide are really starting to drop off. But that really means that Zach Butters is going to have a heavy reliance this year. Same with Connor Rozee. But I think Zach Butters is a really good player. I was thinking between him and Nick Dacos, but because Port Adelaide aren't playing in the opening round and Nick Dacos will be, I've decided to go with Zach Butters. Now, the midfielders 3 through 7, 3 through 8 is really where it gets interesting. The first one, my midfielder 3, I've got Errol Gulden there. From what I've heard, he's playing less on the wing, more through the guts. And I think he had about 20-something and 2 goals in the match sim. Now, I'm not trying to over-exaggerate the reliance of match sim stats, but the way that I think it was less about his stats and the way he played through the midfield, the way he really got the ball. To have him there as the midfield 3, I like, especially with higher CBAs. I'm sure he'll be playing through the guts more than the wing than he did last year. But yeah, Errol Gulden will be on my team to start 2026. Now, my midfielder 4 is actually Clayton Oliver. Now, he's obviously just come across from Melbourne, and I'm not a big lover of Clary, honestly. But to know that Tom Green is now out for the season with an ACL injury, and Finn Callaghan, he's unhealthy. I think he will be around by the start of the Supercoach year, but to know that he will be sort of easing his way back through, I don't think he played the match sim, but he might be playing the practice match this week. But Brent Daniels is also out, and it just leaves a lot of the ball for Clary. Now, obviously, he's sitting at 500,000, which is a lot of money, and it's very unsure pick to be taking, but I think that it's sort of one of those gambles that you got to take where the rest of the team is not looking good. It's like Finn Callaghan last year. Obviously, he was due to jump, whereas Clary is an established player, but more of the ball for Clary will be great. Now, my midfielder 5 is Hayden Young. Obviously, last year also he was quite injured, just like Kitty Coleman, but obviously he's more of an established player. He's now sitting at 389. I think he's owned by about 60% of teams. He's just destined to jump. The amount he gets the ball, he's a really great young player, especially on this Freo team, which I'm going to be honest, I don't really watch a lot of Freo games. But this is more of just everyone's got Hayden Young. He's destined to climb up the ranks a little bit and just get some cash gen in there for me. My midfielder 6 is actually Harley Reid. Now, a lot of people aren't too sold on him. I believe he's in less than 10% of teams as well. But at 381, obviously, we all hear, especially in the basketball, the term sophomore slump, which was his last year. And just going through some of, even just the way his mannerisms, he looks a lot more mature than he was last year. And I really think that he's going to be taking another leap this year. Next midfielder is Darcy Parish. I'm very not sold on Darcy Parish, but everyone I talk to is like, why don't you have him in your team? So I've put him in. Obviously, he's very injury prone and quick flick out if he does get injured, but looking at how he's been playing recently, especially through training and also the practice match, Darcy Parish is probably a great player to have in your team. He will obviously be back through the midfield. Now, my last midfielder, obviously not off the bench, is Willem Dersma. He might get swapped out depending on whereabouts he plays for someone like Jagger Smith, who is on my bench, but we'll go through the bench later. Willem Dersma, obviously number 1 pick this year. I'm going to just say the brother of Harley Reid, because Harley Reid's obviously with Willem's sister. Willem's a gun. He'll be playing through the guts a lot, get down forward. Maybe he'll play off the halfback like we saw with Harley Reid, with Colby McKercher, with Harry Sheasel in the past 3 or 4 years. But realistically, at 203, he's definitely someone that you should be taking. Number 1 pick. There's no reason for him not to be in your team. Moving on to the rucks, it's very cloudy judgment, and that's why I've gone really low-key on this. Obviously, I do have Sherry at my ruck 1. He might be on the move. I've watched our practice match quite a couple of times against Melbourne, and Sherry didn't really look that great with the new rules. The thing about Sherry is he's obviously very much more of a wrestling ruck, whereas North Melbourne do have Taylor Goad, who will probably be in the side this year, as more of a high-flying one for especially centre bouncers. Sherry is really good as the ruckman around the ground, but in the guts, maybe not so much. So he might be on the move. I think he's more of a round 2 omission from the team, just to see how he goes in a proper match. Maybe he wasn't trying in the match simulation, which I know a lot of people don't do. My second ruck is Cooper Duff-Tytler. Obviously, he's one of West Coast's other rookies. He looks really good as well. He's going to be playing around the ruck and the forward line, so he's going to be on the field quite a lot. He's going to score big, and he's only priced at 190. I shouldn't really need to explain many of these high-end rookies, but yeah. Moving on to our forward line, this is where I think most teams will look the same, if not very extremely similar. My forward 1, Harry Sheasel, obviously he's one of the stars of our game. He's yet to get an All-Australian blazer. Will it happen this year? I hope so. I really truly do. But only time can tell. Depends on their record as well as just if he plays well. But he's sort of the forward that you set and forget as well, just like Bontempelli. My forwards are pretty stacked. Because the second one is Christian Petrarca. Now, obviously, he's just moved to Gold Coast. He's going to be playing in a new system, and I think he's playing a bit more in the midfield, rotating through down into the forward line. If he plays forward, I would absolutely love to see that, because the connection between Noah Anderson, obviously Matt Rowe's missing some time, that might open up some Christian Petrarca minutes in the middle, but at the same time, getting a connection between these 3 absolute superstars alongside Jamari Ugle-Hagan, which I also do have in my forward line, it's going to be an absolute elite team. Gold Coast are really going to jump this year. My third forward is Kozzy Pickett. Obviously, like I've mentioned already, both of the other guys are in my team. Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver have both left Melbourne. It leaves a lot of the ball for Kozzy Pickett. Now, obviously, he's already an established star. He's an incredible player. He's really young. He's going to shoot up this season. With that top 3 in the forward line, it's absolutely beautiful. It's barbecue chicken. My fourth, obviously, everyone has this guy, Sam Flanders. He's playing through the guts. He's going to be in the forwarded line as well. It's really going to be a great season for him. Looking at his stats from the practice match, he was in just about as many centre bounces as Nazaya Wanganeen-Millera. I think it was about 67 of CBAs he had, 67%. So he really doesn't. Sorry, no, that wasn't him. That was Matisse Philippou, who's my flex this year, and I'll just jump to him because he is only paying 168,000, right? With 67% CBAs, he is going to have a lot of the ball. He is going to shoot up astronomically. He is someone that every player, every team should have. And I'm pretty sure, if you just let me check my notes, he was... Never mind. I thought he was owned by not many teams. He's actually owned by more than 50, so 50%, sorry. So it really doesn't matter. But Sam Flanders, I'm just going to finish this off really quickly because it doesn't really need much explanation. Jamari Ugle-Hagan, he's just obviously, he's paying 200,000. It's been a long ride for him. And Liam Reedy, who is also looking at being Carlton's next ruck. Now, if he starts the season at the ruck over Mark Pitnett, I'm not 100% sure, but by round 6, I think that there's no chance that Pitnett's there. I think Liam Reedy takes that role full-time, especially with the new rules. But yeah, he's another ruck that I've got on my team. Now, moving on to our bench, I've already spoken on a couple of these already, but starting with the defence going down, obviously we've got Josh Gibcus. He was in the system last year. He's going in this year. He's probably going to play a couple of games. Most games, honestly, because Richmond just keeps getting worse. Next up, Jai Sarong. He's just gotten traded to Sydney. I can't remember where he's from. Maybe it was Brisbane. But he's been apparently also training the house down. He's looking really good in defense, playing on Curnow in their training. He'll be really good for Sydney and everyone's Supercoach teams. Moving on to the midfield, I've got Zeke Euland. He is an absolute superstar. His brother Bodie obviously plays at Gold Coast as well, but Zeke is going to be great. He had about 30 disposals in the match simulation. With Matt Rowell out of the midfield at the moment, he might get a lot more time in through the guts. Bouncing off halfback, he's going to score high. Next is Daniel Annabelle. I'm not too sold on him. I was about 3 weeks ago when I made my first team, because Brisbane really does have all of those players that just really shoot up. Any young guy for Brisbane, you draft them at about 7, although it might be worth about 7. There's something about Brisbane kids that they're just absolute superstars, and I don't think that's going to fall short for Daniel Annabelle. Now, next up is Jagger Smith. He is probably going to end up in the starting midfield over Willem Dersma, purely based off volume. Now, Jagger's only, because he was a rookie last year and injured throughout the entire season, he's only sitting at $119,000. That's an absolute steal. I know a lot of rookies do sit at that level, and technically he's a sophomore, but everyone after having a season-ending injury, they do drop a lot of money. But he is going to be an absolute star. Watching Carlton's match simulation, he looked really nice through the midfield. There'll be a lot of connection using him, especially now that even Sam Walsh is looking pretty good. I obviously don't have him in my team, but the midfield might click a lot more than people expect. Now, going to the next bench position, it is my bench ruck. It is Lachlan McAndrew from Adelaide. Now, he's only owned by less than 10% of teams, and I also think that that's quite foolish, like Blackiston is, because McAndrew is also really battling for that starting ruck role over Riley O'Brien. Now, Riley O'Brien, like Sherry, is one of those wrestling rucks which has been extremely hurt by the new rule changes. Riley O'Brien still might make the team, but I do think that McAndrew will end up starting as the ruck, especially in the centre bounce. He'll jump, maybe not by the start of the round, but he will be someone that'll sit there, and unless someone else does take a starting role, and I do end up trading out McAndrew, I think McAndrew's going to be staying there for a little while. And the bench forwards, we're moving on to Leo Lombard. We all know Leo Lombard. I didn't have him in my team until recently. I did have Lockie Doveston there, but I do think that I have 4 North Melbourne players in my team. Do want to spread out the love a little bit, but at the same time, Doveston, he will play in round 1. I think that's pretty much set by North Melbourne fans, North Melbourne coaches, and just about North Melbourne players. he will be in the team. So will Leo Lombard. Leo Lombard, we've seen what he did 2 years ago in the VFL final. He's great. He missed a lot of last season. Going into this season, he's going to be absolute superstar. Really going to be great for cash gen. As with the next guy, Dev Robinson, who's obviously come from Brisbane. We all know that one clip of him, his jersey getting ripped off. But he's starting at West Coast. He's pretty much locked in for a round 1 start. And I'm also expecting him to play big time. The next thing I want to do, just to end off the video, is I just want to go through some of the people that didn't make the team. Alright guys, I've teleported over to the left side. The first person that didn't make it was Ed Langdon. He's sitting at $389,000, midfield forward DPP for Melbourne. He's also going to be one of those players that does take a leap due to the trading of Clayton, Oliver and Christian Petrarca. Just looking at the stats here, he's got a break even of 72. He'll probably hit that in the first week. They're going up against St Kilda, who they do have a pretty good midfield, but I reckon Ed Langdon will be fine there. The next player that also missed out, like I said earlier, I did omit a couple of Melbourne players, and I thought that there would be a lot more in here. So obviously the next person is Harvey Langford. He's more of a pure midfielder. He's sitting at $384,000, and he's got a break even of 71 going into the first week of the round. Like I said, going up against St Kilda, he will take a leap due to the trades as well. But we do have one more Melbourne midfielder here that you obviously probably do know who I'm talking about, and that is obviously Jack Steele, sitting here at $510,000. He will probably jump a little bit. I don't expect much of a jump. He is someone that obviously I was thinking about having in my team. But people like Errol Gordon, Clayton Oliver, I really think that, especially with their situations, are going to either jump more than Jack Steele or score more than Jack Steele. Obviously, they go both hand in hand, but yeah, Jack Steele is the other midfielder from Melbourne that I did not put into my team. Here's the golden boy. Here's the one that I didn't put into my team. I've already mentioned why. It's pretty much just because of the opening round bye. Obviously, put Zach Butters in his stead. Who knows? He'll probably end up in my team very, very soon, depending on how much money does get generated from some of these rookies. But he is definitely one to keep an eye on. It's just he doesn't make the squad at the moment. Here we go. The next person is Nick Newman. He also missed all of last year, and if you look at his price changes, he's actually dropped $110,000 since last season. He's someone that I'll be looking at bringing in very shortly after the season starts. Get some cash gen, be able to bring him in. He will jump, especially with the way that Carlton's looking. I think that there's going to be a lot of movement from the back line into the guts, which will be Nick Newman's job. And I really hope that this pays off. Don't really like Carlton. Got a lot of people that go for him, so I've got to hate on them, I guess. But Nick Newman will be a good player to bring in this season. If you have him, I wouldn't drop him. But he just didn't make my team this year. Now, this is where we get to some warning signs, because these are two very specific players that, especially after watching the practice match, you need to avoid. They look good, but they're not going to be great this season. The first person is actually Adam Treloar, and I know I'm going to cop a lot of flack for that one. He's a dual position player. He's a DPP. Like I said, Western Bulldogs, they are going to apparently go big this year. Like I said, I'm not too keen on that idea, but I think he's getting a bit old. And obviously, he spent a lot of the end of the season last year playing for the VFL team. But I think that they just end up prioritising a lot more of their youth, like a Riley Sanders and a Joel Frazier, and sort of have Adam Treloar on the outer. He will play. I definitely reckon that he will play, but I don't think he's going to play much, and I don't think he's going to play great. And the last person that really you shouldn't be bringing in is CJ for the Melbourne Demons. Now, he's sitting at $358,000, and a lot of Hawthorn players were giving warning signs of this. He was originally in my team. after watching some of his highlights, lowlights, the practice match, he's very unclean with the ball. And he's going to get a lot more of it, obviously. Especially, I'm not sure if they will end up playing Jake Lever or Stephen May and really lean into the youth, really start a rebuild. But I don't think that CJ, especially early season, he might have to clean up his game. He's not going to score too big. I think he only had about 4 to 8 disposals in the practice match, but he's definitely someone that you should watch out for. And that'll do it. That is my 2026 Supercoach team. I don't think I'm going to change it. I'm going to try and hold off for the next 2 weeks until opening round starts. I'm really looking forward to it this year. I'm hoping that there's a lot more rookie movement. Last year was pretty tough. It was my first year really digging deep into Supercoach. I had made multiple Excel spreadsheets with teams, trade trackers, this, that, everything else. Really tried to get into it, and I absolutely love it. I love some good statistics. As long as you know the game, statistics is your best friend. And yeah, that is the Supercoach team for me this year. That is Sherry on top, obviously. Angle on Sports. I'm Logan. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on Thursday where we start talking about what on earth are the Sacramento Kings going to do to save their franchise.